2 minutes to target and fire forming brass for the 300 PRC. And if you watch part 1, you know that what we're going to show you today is how to take this, which is high quality 8x68S brass, and we're going to turn it into this, which is the same brass fire formed to fit into our 300 PRC chamber. So let's talk about what you're going to need to get that done. And obviously you're going to need brass, and you can get 8x68 in either Norma or RWS. For the purposes of this video, all the sizing, etc., we're using RWS. Now the next thing you're going to need is a shell holder to hold that brass. This is slightly different than what you're using on your 300 PRC. Remember that the rim on the 8x68S is a little bit smaller, so you need a different holder. RCBS makes a number 34 holder, and that's what we're using. You're going to need case lube, you're going to need bushings for your die, you're going to need powder, and all the load information for fire forming is on the website. Most importantly, you need the trimmer. This is the Forester original trimmer, and the reason why I'm using this is it has a very nice reamer attachment that essentially allows you to burrow into the neck and take out all the extra brass from doing the initial resizing. So let's go ahead and see all this stuff in action. To do the initial sizing on this, we're going to use a .341 bushing in our die. And we're going to not use an expander ball on the die. You don't want to put all that brass on the inside of the neck, use an expander ball, and put it all on the outside again. So let's go ahead and take a case. Let's put a little lube on it, put it in our number 34 shell holder, and size it up. It's that easy. And there you have it. Let's take a close-up look at the neck. You can see where that shoulder has been squeezed into the neck on the 8x68, and that's where all this extra brass is. Now we got to get that brass back out, and to do this we're going to use the power attachment on the Forester trimmer. We're going to lube up the blade a little bit just to help it through, lock the case in place using that again, that blade as the guide. And I'm going to use an impact driver. I like this just because it slides right on, and I'm just going to start turning it. And that's it. It's just about as fast as that. Now, the really cool thing about this is a trimmer. It's the original trimmer. It's called that for a reason, and it's got the blade on it. So I can just keep going and get my reaming and trimming done in one step, and this really speeds things up, and this is why I like this so much. Now, one other thing to note about fire forming, if you're expanding the case lot, and we certainly are going from the 8x68 to the 300, that case length is actually going to shrink during the fire forming. So when you're sizing during this step, you want to make sure you've got plenty of length to play with. Now we've got one more sizing to do. This is the final case from a prep perspective, but we've got to size the neck for neck tension. And remember, we started with a .341 bushing. And if you want 1/1000th of neck tension, you drop 4/1000ths to a 337. If you want 2 neck tensions, to a 336, etc. Now let's take a look at this out at the range. So here is the fully loaded, pre-fire formed case. You can see the little ring around the neck that we talked about. So let's load it up. And when you look at this case, that's the fire formed 300 PRC. Now I'm going to leave you with one more bit of footage before we go, and this is at 1,200 yards east of the Sierras. Now, what's special about this? Well, that shot was made with that same round, the pre-fire formed 8x68S. So it's still fun to shoot even when you're fire forming.